Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'll be talking about this new build I've been working on for a while. Over the last couple of weeks I've been working on a build and the new patch has dropped, and it's dropped a piece of the puzzle right on my lap, and it's made what this gimmicky fun build was into actually something quite decent. So I'm kind of excited to share it. Whether it's going to be meta or not, probably not. The meta builds are very strong and very tanky, and they can hold a point where you're not going to be holding a point with this very hard, but it does do some insane damage. So if you like big power bursty build damage, then you should check this one out. It's quite fun, and let's get down to it. I'll start with the traits and we'll go from there. Right, the traits I run are defense, arms and berserk. I used to run defense and discipline like nearly every other meta build out there, because you need a way of gaining adrenaline to get your bursts up, and that way you can get your adrenal health going. But since the patch has dropped, I don't need to do that, so I can go into arms. Because you may be thinking arms is kind of crap, right? Wrong. Arms is pretty damn good, so I'll get to that in a minute. Defense we'll start off with. It's pretty standard defense setup here. Anybody who knows warrior knows this setup. You got reflect because I have a shield. If you look down here, I'm actually running rifle, sword, shield on this build, and sword shield looks fly as hell, and I'm so glad it's coming back. So you got the shield master there, adrenal health. This is how you get your sustain. As you can see, I'm not actually running a heal signet. I'll get to that in a minute. So you're going to want to pop off bursts as much as possible, and this is how you get your sustain. So this is why defense is pretty much mandatory on most warrior builds these days, because without this you're kind of reliant on your healing, and it kind of stunts you in other ways. So adrenal health, absolutely fantastic as usual. I can't believe they haven't nerfed it in the patch, but here we are. Defy pain adds a little bit more sort of sustain to this build, which is useful because it can get a bit bursty out there. You can run armored attack if you want. That would also improve your numbers a little bit, but I would go with Defy Pain because you've only got one stun break on this. It's your headbutt, so having another Endure Pain, which counts as a stun break, come out in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of fun. So that gets you out of some jams. I would recommend that one. Spiked armor is actually useful now because you're running some nice power, so the retail does actually do some nice damage there, and toughness is always nice. Cleansing Eye, as you'll be firing off burst skills all over the place. The Cleansing Eye is how you get most of your cleanse, so I would recommend Cleansing Eye on this one, although Last Stand and Rousing Resilience is also kind of good. I would still recommend Cleansing Eye, to be honest. Okay, now we're going on to the fun bit. This is arms, right? And you may be thinking, why are we going arms? Well, with arms, this is how you get your adrenaline. It used to be that you run discipline to get adrenaline, not on this one, because you get crits get a chance to cause bleeds, which is pretty nice. And one of these ones, bleeding foes faster, and you also get crits to cause a chance to cause vulnerability. With the rifle, Rifle 1 I believe it is, you gain bonus adrenaline against vulnerable targets. So just critting and doing stuff like that means you'll be generating adrenaline all the time. And we have Signet Mastery here. This is I looked at arms and I was thinking, oh well, arms is kind of fun but it's kind of useless, but this running some signets on this actually makes it really good, and Signet Mastery is where it really starts getting the synergy piling up there. Now Signet Mastery adds another this one, the Signet of Might. It just props automatically every 20 seconds when you hit somebody below 50%, I believe. Yeah, so you're going to be having a lot of unblockable attacks, and if you get to use your own Signet of Might at the same time when you're doing it, it's really, really good. But it also gives a 100% precision bonus whenever you use the signets, and you will be popping signets all over the place on this. So you're going to have a lot of precision. I've already talked about the crits, so you're going to have lots of bleeds, lots of crits, lots of vulnerability. So basically all your attacks are going to be doing bleed and Vun. They don't do much damage on themselves, although Vun sort of does. It's nice that you will just be spitting out those conditions at all. Now I run Blade Master on this one. The other two aren't really useful because having a 50% critical chance increase is kind of useless when you'll be running so much critical chance on this build. It's ridiculous. So having swords increase their crit chance against bleeding foes is really nice. It basically means as sword 1 does bleed anyway and you'll be doing crits do bleed anyway, sword becomes an instant crit machine. It will not uncrit. If you want to crit somebody, every sword skill will crit. That's just how this build runs. And of course you'll be doing more damage to all the bleeding foes, so that's where you get some nice numbers. Now on this one you may think burst precision is quite nice. It does critical percent chance of hit, so your gun flames are always going to be critting. That's not what you want really, because if you think about it, I think you get it to about 77% crit chance when you start popping signets because of the signet mastery, and then you have Fury on top of that when you go to Berserk to activate your gun flame. So you're looking at a 97% crit chance when you're using your gun flame. So to have a skill that just brings up to 100% isn't that useful, especially when you have Furious here, which is crits grant bonus adrenaline. Oh wow, I'm critting everything here, I'm getting more adrenaline. They've got bleeding on them and vulnerability, so you know, one shot from a rifle gains like 5 adrenaline, 2 shots and you're ready to go with a burst. You get a lot of adrenaline. It does its job, and also the condition damage spike as well. It doesn't really do too much, but of course the gun flame does add 3 burning, and you'll be doing 2 of them at a time. So it's kind of nice to have that little bit of condition damage boost, I suppose. Berserker, Smash Brawler, just to get those bursts going. Always angry. More damage, perfect. Blood reaction. Now, blood reaction is kind of important. Dead or Alive is a fantastic one. It adds a lot of sustain, but I'll go with blood reaction mainly because you gain ferocity based on a percentage of your precision, and with signet mastery, you're beginning maybe 400 precision. I've seen when I look down there sometimes I see stacks of 5, so that's 500 precision, 14% of 5. I'm not going to do the maths from my head right now. That's a lot of ferocity you're getting. That makes your numbers go very, very high. So I would definitely run blood reaction because you've got so much precision on this and you'll be getting a lot out of that. Of course you're going to get the boons when you go berserk. I'll get onto some of this quickness and how that works with the other one. And you're going to want Eternal Champion for this, just because stability means you get to get those shots go through. I used to think Bloody Raw was amazing, and then I was thinking King of Fires is pretty good with the Condi, but now I run Eternal Champion just because it means that you can do what you want to do, and because you have access, because of the Smash Brawler, to be in Berserk all the time. It's pretty much stability on demand, great for stomping, great for doing what you want to do. So this is an overview of the traits. Now the trouble is I don't really know where to start with on this build because there's so much synergy going on. We'll go to equipment first. You've got the rifle with gun flame and sword shield. Now these sigils, a sigil of blood, because of course when you're doing crits you're going to steal health. That adds even more damage and it heals you a little bit, adding to your sustain. I run sigil of air on this one just to get that nice little spike of damage on critical. And then of course we've got the sigil of leeching when you switch, more like sort of stealing health, more damage, and of course sigil of blood as well on that because the sword is going to be doing 100% crit rate. Might as well get some health and some damage added on extra. Now Rune of Vampirism adds even more power. Your chance to when struck your next step to steal life. When you use a heal skill you steal health. You also, when you stop below 25%, you also steal. So there's a lot of health stealing here, and it's kind of one of the gimmicks of this build is all the health stealing you get. I'll get to that in a minute when I get to my utilities as well, just how much synergy that brings to you. Now you've got the Demolisher amulet here, power, precision, toughness and ferocity. That toughness kind of adds up to a lot. You kind of want some of it just to keep yourself alive, and with toughness and lifesteal is fantastic because it makes it harder You still get the same amount of life back from the life steal, but it makes it harder to go with them taking the life away from you. So that's what you want. But now we get on to the fun part. This is the utilities. When I was making this build, I was looking at trying to get away from healing signet. Now healing signet is so it's just broken. It's overpowered. If you look at every meta build for warrior, everything runs of healing signet, and there's a reason for that. When it's not being used, it's like 3 times better than like regen and stuff, and you can. It's just ridiculous. It just means you last way long. So I've been trying to get away from it, and that's why I run Blood Reckoning, is because I was fed up of using a boring sigil like that, and I wanted to have something fun. And turns out I've stumbled into this build, and with Blood Reckoning, when you not only does it give you health, like just a base healing of 3,000 there, it also gives you 10 adrenaline, which when you're in Berserk, it means that your burst is ready to go, and it resets the burst. So you can fire off a burst, heal, and that will give you all the adrenaline back straight away and reset it, and then fire again. That's why you'll see me do 2 flame blasts in quick succession. And if you've just gone to Berserk mode, you've got the quickness from the trait down here, so it all happens quickness. So it's just a boom, heal, boom. And Blood Reckoning has a nice little advantage of when the damage, outgoing damage, is also going to be healing as well. So if the area effect of Gunflame hits like 3 people for 5k damage, that's a full heal right there. So it's got some actual nice healing on it as well. And because of the sigil of vampirism, also when you will pop this a lot, Blood Reckoning. It's not like using a sigil where you just sit on it. This one you pop quite commonly and quite a lot, so you'll be getting the vampirism rune. Your next attack will steal health, so there's even more damage to it, there's even more healing from it than what one might expect. The patch has actually buffed Signet of Fury. It's gone up to 20 seconds, it used to be 30, and with the Signet Mastery, of course, it's down to 16. Just to put into context just how ridiculous this is, if I put this onto autocast, I think I put it on autocast. Yeah, so that's just going to run by itself, just to show you. But when it's not being used, it gives 180 precision. If I've put it on autocast here, and with the Signet Mastery, it will give you 100 precision when you use it, and if you just use it again, that's 200 precision. So if you're using it a lot, it's better than not using it at all, which kind of makes me think they didn't really think about the balance of it at all. But I'm not going to complain. It's a very underused signet. It gives you full health whenever you need it, full adrenaline whenever you need it, and it's almost like it doesn't have a downside to it. You're losing access to some nice abilities and stuff, but the general gist of it is you would want to run in, get in combat, and then as soon as you're in combat, you'd want to pop it. So as fun as it is just having it on autocast the whole time, I'm up to like 400 precision right now. As fun as it is having that, and 68 crit chance, that's crazy. As fun as it is having the that just going away, you kind of want it at your beck and call. So I wouldn't advise auto attack. But the whole point of it is you get in combat, you pop it straight away, and in combat, of course, this won't be draining, and then straight from the get-go you have the ability to just start firing off gun flames with the Blood Reckoning and all this other great stuff. Berserker stance is there, kind of a necessity. Not only does it give more adrenaline, which is kind of fun, it also gets rid of blinds, because blinds are a bane to this, because with cleansing ire you really need to make sure your stuff's hitting, and of course I'm using Signet of Might, so any blocks or any way of reflex are not going to be getting in my way. Blinds are the biggest pain, so to have Berserker stance there is really, really nice, and that's why I run Berserker stance. Signet of Might, don't really talk about, adds more precision. It's on a 20-second cooldown, that's insane. When you pop this, you hit like a guardian that's blocking you, you hit them with a double burst, and they go down, then they heal, but you've already hit them when they were low, so you get the other signet proc from the trait, so you're not double unblockable, but it leads on from each other, and before the guardian even knows it, he blocks up the whole time, but he's dead and you're at full health. It's fantastic. And you got the headbutt, Headbutt's sort of useful. It's a nice stun break, I think, is what the main purpose of that is. Also, it's a huge stun, 3 seconds. Everybody knows what headbutt does at this point. It's probably trade outable, but I wouldn't want to risk not having a stun break, to be honest, because that's what this is missing along the bar here. So to have the stun break is really, really good. Just a quick talk about some of the other things we've got going on here. So, talking about the sword here, Flaming Flurry is if you're defensive and you really need it to hit. Flaming Flurry is why I generally use this. Don't forget that Flame Flurry in the buff has also changed it so that the angle the blasts come out has actually changed, so it really does destroy the projectiles now. You can use it very defensively, and when you use it in conjunction with Blood Reckoning, you can use it once and then use it again, and it just keeps on going, and it lasts for 2.5 seconds. If you use it twice in a row, that's what, 5-6 seconds, or 5 seconds of a projectile denialment, and you got the block on top which reflects missiles because thank you defense. It's super, super good. And also I like to point out that in the traits you are pretty slow, so to have Blade Master here means that the Savage Leap's actually on a 6.5 second cooldown, so you can actually get around pretty fast, and having a final thrust on 9.5 seconds on a power build is also super, super fun, super, super dangerous, and all the good stuff. So that's the sort of overview of the build. I'll just show you sort of the how it would generally work in practice here. So the idea is that you come up to, you see somebody and you manage to get the hit off. You get into combat first, and you've got that, sigil, and you finish off with the final thrust or something. And then you're doing some big numbers down here. Let's have a look, shall we? Like I critically hit the golem with the shield bash for like 2k. Final thrust was like 6k there. The first gun flame was 4.8, 5.5. You got burns hitting there, and it's triggering adrenal health and all that. If you like having a lot of just junk on your bar down here, this will fill up in just crazily. So if you like having a lot of buffs on you, this is also a really fun build to do, and that's a general overview of it. So I hope you guys enjoy this build. It's quite fun. It takes a lot of finesse. If you're used to the sigil of whatever, you need to kind of think differently when using this build, but it's a lot of fun. Would recommend it, and I'll see you guys later.